Hi, my name is Joe Murphy. I'm a co-founder of a 501c3 nonprofit named Chef's Table Foundation. I'm excited to do this show for the Massachusetts Commission for the Blind, and there's a very good reason. I am completely devoted to the staff, what they accomplish. How do I know this? Because I lost my vision suddenly in 2020 at the end of the year. I contracted a rare virus in my brain. Within a month, that virus hit my retinas and scarred them, and I became legally blind. So I was treated for 1 year with chemo to kill the virus. When I got through with that, I decided I wanted to go to 2 culinary schools. So I want people to know, disabled does not mean discarded. And that's how I live my life. We always have problems, but to try to overcome, that doesn't mean perfection, but we can always work towards perfection. So I went to a culinary school at Boston University and took their certificate program in culinary arts. From there, I went to New York in Manhattan, Soho, and took a European bread program. I came back, worked in a great bakery with 100-year-old brick ovens to advance my skill in baking bread, and then I bought a 5,000 square foot bakery. And that lasted for 5 years because I was seriously critically injured in a motorcycle accident. And but in any event, I did that. So I was approached because I had great relationships with the commission. And I can tell you, Inky is a great friend and counselor. Donna Nicolai. There are so many other people, and I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank, that I want to acknowledge everybody. Dennis Avery, that was, I drew a blank. And Dahlia James, who's now in Worcester. So they've all supported me and my work. I was asked 4 or 5 years ago, would I create a cooking course for blind people? And we did. And we ran that successfully a number of times. And then when COVID came, we couldn't continue. But right now, we're getting ready to go to Worcester in the 3rd week of January, getting our own contract, which is great for us, that we're not working under anybody else's contract. So we're looking forward to continuing our service, helping the blind. I have a thought. On our website, it's been tough raising money, but we run these online raffles. So in order to expand the cooking program, which I've been asked to do and include more cooking, well, I priced out all the equipment and I have to figure out, okay, we got to raise $10,000 to buy all the equipment, and which we will do. Somehow we will do it. But we run raffles. And as I wrote the post for the raffle, I said, disabled does not mean discarded. And that's one of the blessings that I received after working with the staff at the Mass Commission for the Blind. So disabled does not mean discarded. So having said that, our website is chefstables.org. You can go on there and take a look at some of the things we're working towards. We're in process on, finishing out the website, but there's plenty to see. And, we run the raffles. So, again, it's up to you. I'm not soliciting directly, but if you had the urge, you could buy the December raffle. So, having said that, we have a very short window to do this. So I want to explain what chefs learn and how they work. There's a term, Misenplace. What does that mean? Everything in its place. All your ingredients that you'll be using, so that's right there and you don't miss an ingredient if you're doing a particular family recipe or a recipe you found online. You want to be sure that you include everything to get the maximum flavor. So what is mise en place? We have it right here. We will be using unsalted butter. We always use unsalted butter in cooking or baking. Why? Because if you think of the term, the acronym TT, that means to taste. If you have a salt issue or sodium issue, then you can push and control how much salt you want in your food. So that's a very important thing to remember. Now, the mise en place, we're going to use, as I said, unsalted butter. And then we have here, I believe this is cheese for the pasta dish. Then over here we have peppers, which go into the pork tenderloin that we're going to make. There's a term, it's called a mirepoix. So what does that mean? It's a mixture of celery, carrots, and onion. And when you're roasting meats or turkeys, you want this in the roasting pan, because when you want to make the gravy, this will really enhance the flavor of your sauce or your gravy. So we have already made a sauce because of the timeline. We've already produced one of these. It's a pork tenderloin, and it's already been butterflied, which if you're not familiar with that term, lay it down and then slice it in the middle of the product, not all the way through, because what you want to do is have this, a larger piece, so that you can roll it and stuff it, okay? Here is mirepoix, carrot, celery, onion, and this stuff is ready to go. So really, this will make a difference when you make your sauce. That goes right in the pan, okay? And then we're gonna add onions. This is gonna be a white sauce for the pasta. I use a Costco brand of chicken stock. Keep in mind, there is no salt, and it's always been a very good broth, okay? To make a stock, a soup, or whatever you want to do. All right. So we have that. There is our chicken stock for the sauce. So what we want to do is, I have the prosciutto and the provolone cheese. This stuff was supplied to me by a great Italian deli caterer who's a friend of mine, and he's based in Dedham, right in front of the town hall. And I gotta tell you, he is a fantastic chef. He was trained in Italy. He went to culinary school 5 years, because that's where he's from. And then he went and trailed in Spain for a while and Switzerland. So he did a really great job. All right, so this is provolone. We can butterfly this. So I got my hand, the palms open, my fingers are up, and then I can go through, okay, and slice it. So we try to get the pieces as close as we can to the same size. That way there. So we have our cheese. We have our prosciutto. Here we have our tenderloin, our cheese, okay? Next comes peppers. So here are your peppers. You can see these are beautiful. I love red peppers, and this is part of your stuffing. So, you know, use your own head. And again, I always say when I'm doing a TV show or teaching, to taste. So use your own judgment, okay? Now, this has plenty of pepper in there. So this I can move over here, all right? Okay, for the sake of time, I'm gonna start the pasta, okay? And you'll understand shortly why I'm doing this. Because of time constraints, we have one of the four finished. Okay, so now, here's our porchetta. And what we have to do is tie this, all right? It's all stuffed with our ingredients, which is great, all right? So we're gonna put one string under it, there, okay? And we're gonna loosen this up. And again, this does not take long to cook. It's an angel hair pasta, okay? So, there we go. We're gonna start tying this and pulling it together. And give it a good tight pull. That way we wanna hold everything in place. So, what we did with the spinach, we just sauteed it for a minute to loosen it up so that when we wanted to stuff the pork loin, that it won't be hanging out. So there you see. So you will know how many times you have to tie this by the size or the length of your pork loin, all right, your pork tenderloin, because you want to really give it a good tight pull. Why? Because you want it to hold the ingredients while it's in the oven roasting. Okay, so, all right, now, what do we do with this? Here it is. Here's your pork loin, all right? So this goes in on top of the mirror pot. There's oil in the pan, which is great, okay? So this is ready to go. And then generally we recommend cook this at a 400-degree oven, and it does not take long. So I would say after 10 minutes, depending on how your oven performs, start checking it for wellness. All right, so I'm putting this in the oven right now. And here is a finished pork tenderloin. I hope you can see that. I want to move this right here for now. All right, let me move this out of our way. Keep our station as clean as possible, which is important. Okay, so we have chicken stock, as I said. This is a white sauce. So in the pan, I put a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Then I put the chicken stock in, and this is called a stock base. It's a chicken base. And so, again, I want to caution everybody. As you're cooking, think about the ingredients. Do they have salt? How much do they need? This chicken base, or you could use a beef base, but for this recipe, we're using a chicken. Just keep in mind, they're very salty. Because once you put the pasta, which I put a cup of kosher salt in with the pasta. And people say, oh, but keep in mind, what is pasta? Flour and water. It doesn't have any flavor. So you need to keep that in mind. Don't be afraid to use a cup of, as I said, I use kosher salt. First of all, if you use kosher salt, there is a difference between kosher and table salt, or sea salt and table salt. the sodium is less. So it's not a huge amount of reduction in sodium, but if you are really considering your sodium intake, I recommend kosher salt or sea salt, whichever works best for you. Okay, this is called a spider, and you'll see Chinese restaurants using this. So I take the pasta like this, okay? There you go, you see it? All right, oh, that slipped out, sorry about that. And you want a little pasta water also, that's my recommendation, because you want a little bit of that flour to go in here. So there we go there. That's that. Now, what I'm gonna do now, okay, is we're going to cut the pork loin open into serving size pieces. Now, the string has been cut off of this, as I said. So, while I'm doing this, you can see this end, you can see the spinach, and as we get deeper in, you will see you'll see the spinach, the cheese, the peppers, and it makes a beautiful dish. So let me get a plate. We will plate this up, okay, and so you can cut these medallions as thick or thin as you want. So I think it's a good idea to do it the way your people, your family, your guests like to eat, okay? Now, we're gonna get some pasta on here, okay? So, well, I like these tongs, when you can spin this around, particularly on an angel here, like that, and then get it on your plate so that you have a nice nest, if you will. Then we also have, right here, we have our asparagus. If, plating is a very important part of eating and dining. So keep that in mind if you are gonna have guests for Christmas. I think you'll find this a very delicious dish. So we have that, okay? I'm just gonna put a little unsalted butter on the asparagus, which is one way to dress it, okay? And that will melt, obviously, because as you can see the steam coming off this. And then, so, squeeze it different places, all right? Now, I salted the water when I cooked the asparagus. So, just so you know. And again, to taste. If you have a salt allergy, you don't want to have a problem with salt consumption, that's fine, okay? I am going to put a little bit of pepper on this, and then we will put the cheese, okay? Cheese. So we have some fresh grated Parmesan cheese. I went to my Italian market and he grated this for me earlier today. So, and I'm gonna put a little drop of that on the asparagus as well. And I think that'll really add some flavor to that. So, here you have a great Christmas dinner. Now, you will probably see these pork cutlets, pork tenderloin on sale during the next couple of weeks. You don't have to go crazy. Now, if you buy the package of two, one is usually thicker than the other. So, but that doesn't mean you can't stuff it and cook it. If you're gonna have a party for 8 to 10 people, that will be plenty. Because by the time you put the cheese, the spinach, the peppers in there, it will be great. And then you have the asparagus and yum yum. So again, on behalf of Chef's Table Foundation, I hope you enjoy this meal. Believe me when I tell you, this is a delicious meal. And again, I really want to give a shout out to the staff at the Massachusetts Commission for the Blind. They're empathic, compassionate, very knowledgeable in the different areas, and they have a very comprehensive mix of staff. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy this. And if you want to get in touch with us, you can go to our website, chefstables.org, and there'll be a link on the video that you'll see. We'd love to hear from you. Goodbye, and have a wonderful holiday season.